Hi guys and welcome back to my channel, Happy Hour. My name is Alexandra Tejeda, and on this channel we talk about self-love, self-worth, and self-development. So today, I know like my boobs are in your face a little bit, but it's my 25th birthday, okay? This is pre-recorded, but I'm putting it up on the time of my birthday, so woo! And I'm just pretending that I'm at the club right now, so you know. Because I'm still in quarantine, so I can't even go out, but this is me pretending, okay? So, yeah. But I want to talk about the lessons that I've learned in my life up to this point in my life, turning 25, and kind of my story and the things that I've learned along the way. So we are going way back, but I promise it's relevant to you as well, okay? All right, so I grew up in a lot of chaos, okay? My mom had me when she was 16, so she was a teenager. We basically grew up together. My dad was out of the picture, and yeah, I was with my mom throughout her whole like teenage years, which is kind of weird. You're never really around for your parents' teenage years, so you really grow up together. So that meant seeing her in abusive relationships and also being subject to abuse myself. So from a young age, I was angry. And that's not placing the blame on anybody, but that's just what I experienced. Because I was angry and at that point insecure and just wanted someone to listen to me, I joined the bad crowd in my school or in my city. Just kids that were into partying, drinking, drugs, and like opposing authority. And at that time, that was really cool to me. And those kids gave me a community and people who listened to me. Even if we talked about nothing, they were there for me. But, you know, they didn't add a lot of substance to my life and they weren't very encouraging in my life either. But my grandma always said that who you hang out with represents like your vibe. And I was always like, no. I could see that they weren't good people, but I couldn't see how it was affecting me. So I was always like, no, like they do their own thing. I'm my own person. I'm not affected by them. I was so affected by them that if you look at pictures of me then, I even looked like the girl that I was best friends with, like do my eyebrows like her and everything. So yeah, and just on a mental level as well, just listening to everything she had to say because it was so important to me when really she was quite negative. So yeah, that is my first lesson. Your tribe does really represent your vibe, okay? That quote or whatever, because it is so true. I totally didn't think that growing up at all. I was like, I'm my own person. I'm not influenced by those people. Look at the 5 people around you. You are influenced by them, okay? And so it really matters who you have around you. And through this time growing up and being in this bad crowd, I was also a part of cheer. So I was in cheerleading from 8 to 18. And I believe that saved me because it taught me so much. It taught me about responsibility. It taught me about working towards a bigger goal, like bigger than yourself. If we want to be first in a competition, we had to train really hard. And it also helped me to be a part of a community. I believe that if any kid should be in extracurricular activities because it really saved me and it gave me something outside of myself to look forward to. And yeah, I'm just so thankful for cheer, honestly. It kept me out of a lot of trouble because I had a sense of responsibility. I had something to show up to for other people and I had a goal in mind. So that changed probably my whole mindset. So yeah, I was completely happy with cheer, and then I moved to another cheer company that was like better than the one I was in, and therefore I moved my whole life. Like our family moved our whole life. My mom helped me do this move so I could go to the cheer program that I wanted to, but it involved moving cities. So we moved cities and I had to start in a different school. I still was attracting like the wrong kind of kids and hanging out with the wrong people. But at that school, there was a counselor who listened to me, and that also really changed my life, my outlook, my mindset. At that point, I was still really angry. I was about 16 at this time, so grade 10. Now looking back at it, you could tell how like insecure I was, and like it was pretty transparent. But a lot of the teachers, I knew that if I just mouthed off, that they would send me to the principal's office. I wouldn't have to be in class. Nobody really listened to me. I was just mouthing off, and therefore people would kind of dismiss me, which I thought I liked, but apparently I did want attention from another point of view. Of course I wanted attention, but it was easy to get out of class and stuff like that if I just mouthed off. So that's what I was used to doing. But in grade 10, when I was 16, I had a counselor that really helped me. She was a school counselor, and I was usually wandering the halls during the time of class. And one time I was, and she saw me and she asked like, what are you doing? And I said, oh, blah, 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 this teacher is a B, okay? Because I was used to mouthing off, and I thought that she'd be like, oh my God, like you're suspended or something like that. And she's like, oh, I remember this to this day. She said, oh, why is that teacher a B, a bitch? And I just looked at her like, okay, number one, she didn't cuss me out for saying that. Number two, she repeated a bad word. That was like a big thing. I never heard another teacher say like a bad word. And I was just like, okay, she's listening to me. And so my mind shifted again, my mindset changed. And I think that's really important, is to listen to people. Like that's something that I pride myself on now, is to really listen to people. And I have clients and stuff like that, and I just give them my full attention without like judging or whatever, just being open and listening to them. And that brings me to my next lesson, which anger only affects you. I was so angry at the time and whatever, and mouthing off to different people and getting myself into trouble, and it only affected me. The people that had wronged me in my life or whatever, they weren't even around, and I was just running around wreaking all this chaos in my own life. So really, anger only affects you. So try not to harbor those feelings, even though it's hard. It only affects you. It doesn't affect the person that you don't like. It only affects you. So after school was done, I graduated high school on time, which was like a big thing that was not gonna happen for me, and I ended up graduating on time, so I was super proud of myself for that. And I was slowly getting out of the wrong crowd, but then for some reason in that gap year when I was like 19, I took a gap year and stayed in cheer when I should have probably went away to school, but that's fine. I took the gap year. I fell back into that same crowd. I was like slowly getting out of it and I fell right back in. I don't know how. Yeah. But it was funny because at that time, the girl that was my best friend in that bad crowd, who was really a bad influence on me, we moved out together to like a ghetto city. It was like awful. We moved out together and she completely changed. She was not as fun anymore. She wasn't funny. She was just blatantly rude, and she never really wanted to be around me. And I was then like really shocked and taken back, and I was like, I had to ask my family for help. I was like, I need to move out. Number one, I'm not finding a job in this city. Just could not find a job. No one would hire me. And number two, she's completely changed. I'm scared for my well-being. So they helped me. I didn't even tell her I was gonna move out. At this time, she had a lot of money. She was doing a lot of things, and they helped me move out. So my family was there for me for sure. It was in the middle of the day, and we took all my stuff and just left, and she was screaming at me from another room saying, you can't leave me, like with the rent. But she was making a lot of money at that time, and I couldn't be around her anymore. And I blocked her right away and whatever after that, seriously. But what I learned from that was when people show you their true colors, listen to it, like really, that's their true colors, okay? So don't think that anything's gonna change. People may change, but they don't change much, okay? So, and then the second thing I learned from that experience was I could not find a job to save my life in that city. The second I moved back home, I think within that week, I got a job right away at a cafe, like at a little, whatever, coffee shop, which was crazy to me because the universe will tell you things, okay? That's my other lesson. The universe will talk to you. So the fact that I was looking, I think for over a month for a job, in that city, I couldn't find anything, and the second I moved home, I found a job. It just shows you that the universe will tell you when you're on the right path. After that gap year, I did move away to school, and that was a good time. I definitely had some ups and downs, but I met like a lot of lifelong friends. So that's my other lesson, is if you put your mind to something, you can do it. So it's important to do that for yourself, not even to prove other people wrong, just to do it for yourself. After school was done, from the age of like 21 to 24, I'm 24 now, but I'm about to turn 25, I just tried everything. Honestly, that's my other lesson, is just try everything. I worked at different jobs. I traveled to a lot of different places. I went to Europe and backpacked by myself for 3 months, which was a shit show, but at least I tried. Okay, I did it. And then I also moved to Australia recently, and I just came back, which I enjoyed, but it was kind of lonely because I was solo traveling, and I was there for 6 months. And then I worked at a bunch of different jobs. I was serving most of the time. I was a hostess manager. I worked at a gym, and that really gives you a guide, an idea of the things that you like and you dislike, and therefore you learned. And also working at a gym, when I worked at Good Life, a gym in Canada for a year, I learned so much about myself and about other people, because at that point I was pretty judgmental. I just was. I would look at other women, and I was still insecure, and I would look at other women and be like, oh, look at what she's wearing, or oh, blah, 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 in my head, right? And I was like that before working at the gym. And then I worked at the gym, and I would sit down with women all day long to go over assessments and stuff like that. And just everybody had a different story that you couldn't get from looking at someone, you know? So don't judge people, like it's just stupid. Everybody has a story. And so once I sat down with women that were confused about their sexuality, or had been through sexual abuse, or had such insecurities and self-limiting beliefs that they didn't even want to step foot into a gym, I was like, wow, like I can't get any of that from looking at you. And if I just sit down and listen to you and I'm open with you, I can get a lot more from a conversation. So really, that was another lesson of mine, was just not to be judgmental and to be open. And then also through that time, working with tons of different people, different personalities, people that you like, people that you don't like, I heard a lot of the same things about myself. Things that were positive and things that were negative. I was a hard worker, but I also maybe didn't listen to everybody. I say that I pride myself on listening, which I do now, but that's because I self-reflected. And at the beginning of people saying I didn't listen, I was like, what'd you say? Or I'd be like, that's not true, I listen all the time, what are you talking about, I listen. And you know, you can't be really open with that mindset. I'm still very stubborn to this day, okay? But I can acknowledge that sometimes I don't listen, so I need to work on that harder, and I got there by self-reflecting. So definitely don't be scared to self-reflect, because that's the only way that you grow and learn more about yourself. And then now that I am turning 25, I feel a different switch happening in my life. It's funny. I felt different ways in different times in my life. When I was like 21, I felt a switch. I don't know how to describe it. And then when I was 24, I felt another switch go off, or like a light bulb go off in my head. So now the things that I'm learning like recently have been to try new things, do things that scare you, and that will really push you forward. And then another recent lesson has been to really learn. I have always loved calendars and planning, but recently I've been like implementing a morning routine every single day, and I've been trying to read a book every month, and I have been. And it's just nice to learn new things. So yeah, constantly learning. And then lastly, the most recent thing that I've been doing is just thinking about my future. In my early 20s, I was really like one day at a time, like maybe I'm gonna book a trip here, maybe I'm gonna work here for a little bit to save up for something small and whatever, stupid. Like just, I was very one day at a time. Now I'm a little bit more linear, where I can like see the bigger picture, and I have more of a future in mind. But that just comes with age, and all of our lessons are gonna be different depending on what you've gone through in your life. So my lessons may not be the same as your lessons, but these are the things that I have learned and the things that I'm applying to my life today. So yeah, it was a long video. Thank you guys for watching, for being a part of my channel. Let me know the lessons that you've learned up until this point in your life, and how you are constantly learning. I think life is a balancing act, and I don't think that we ever have everything together. I think that one thing takes precedence, and then another thing takes precedence, and another thing takes precedence and priority. So it's really always changing, and that's okay. And you're always learning, and you're always evolving. And in the next 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, I'm gonna have learned more things and different things. So this is not the end of the things that I'm going to learn, okay? But yeah, we're all different, and that's what's unique about us. And we all have different lessons and things that we bring to the table. So I think that's really interesting and cool. And yeah, anyway, happy birthday to me. And these are the life lessons I have learned so far, and I'm so mature, and you know, so yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and for being a part of my channel, and I will see you soon on the next video. And let me know what you guys do and what lessons you guys have learned in your life, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, okay? So yeah, thank you guys so much.